Hi girls, and welcome back to the Cozy Corner, where we are just focused on telling the truth, being real, being ourselves. And I'm not in my main spot today because I just have to get on it. I've been going through it, okay? Let me start from square one as to where my sense of overwhelm has come from. First things first, it was maybe a year or two or three ago, I actually did see a YouTuber that I watch. She got something great, a huge change in her life, and now we come to find out that in the background, there's been some maybe not so favorable things going on in her life. And so this combination of conflicted emotions and life changes and whatever it is, she would be filming and then she would just start bawling her eyes out. And I never judged it. I genuinely was just like, what is going on? What could that be? I was just very curious, but I was so confused because it's not something I had ever necessarily experienced. Okay, I'm a bit closer because I just feel like I'm yelling. So that, she would just start crying, and she would do it all of the time. And there were good things happening with her. And so I was just like, and it's something that time goes on and everything else looks fine. And so it's something that I kept remembering, but right. Fast forward to, I'm not kidding you, this past week and a half has been the most trying time of not of my life, okay? But of the most recent, 6 months. It's exhausting to just exist sometimes, because just when you think everything is going fine and everything is smooth and you've got it all together, I've been experiencing a wave of what I think is basically overwhelm. And it's so crippling lately because of such uncertainty that I'm experiencing in my life. There have been some changes in my friendships. There have been some changes in my work. There have been some changes in just so many different dynamics in my life. And usually, guess what? I'm the type of girl that's like, okay, it is what it is. That's just how I've always been. I've always been like that, where I'm like, okay, well, you can't. I also made a video like where if you feel like you're swimming against the current and you feel like a little guppy in the ocean, go with it. Go with the flow and only focus on what you can control. I still resonate with that because it's true. There are so many things outside of our control, and mine in particular right now. So I thought that's the point. Uncertainty. You don't know. There's changes going on and you don't know. But that uncertainty, that many times, so intensely, all in a row, I'm like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. Like, it's just, I've been feeling, I also think that I'm a person who, because I generally have a positive outlook on life, I have a hard time naming events or feelings that are not positive. So, or because it's not crippling, I'm like, I don't know if I have stress. I just get a little like worked up sometimes. And I say, I don't know if I have anxiety. I do worry sometimes. So I guess maybe I think I'm realizing I don't know if I like labels. Maybe that's what it is. And no, I'm not talking about boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm talking about when it comes to labeling and structuring what is going on in my life. I don't have diagnosed and consistent and debilitating anxiety, thankfully. But I do experience anxiety, and I have been experiencing it for the last week and a half so intensely, and I will get to how I've been coping. I have been stressed, but I'm not someone experiencing chronic stress, I don't think. And stress is also a weird one, because if you put me in another country around a different group of people, they'll be like, you are the most stressed girl ever, because I'm American. So what I consider to be stressful would be the most heightened situation for other people, or sorry, it would be what I consider stressful is this. It's like up here, my level of stress could be happening here, but for someone else, that's their highest level of stress in it, like another country, or someone who like, you know, lives on a farm and is calm all day and whatever, or people who have never left home before. There's a different level of stress. You don't realize what you are used to, what you've gotten used to, until you exit that scenario. Okay. So I've also been dealing with a crippling heartbreak. And I'm not going to get into the details because that's not important, and my personal love life is not really up for discussion. But I'm dealing with a very specific situation that you can't find on Reddit. It's not, I hate him, he did this, or it was him, I needed to grow and I just left the situation. That is not what happened. You can't find it on Reddit, okay? This is what I'm getting at. So it's not the typical thing, but what it's I experienced such a huge loss, and it keeps poking itself, or what is it? It keeps popping back up. It's popping back up at the same time as I'm experiencing stress and overwhelm and anxiety at such an intense level. And guess what I've been doing to cope with that? I've been drinking a little too much. Not in a social way. It's just more like the after dinner, right before bedtime. And that's not helping. Of course it's not helping. It's causing a scatterbrained energy that I'm just not used to. And thankfully, I'm on the other side of it. I just had to get some certainty in different aspects in order to feel like I have more control and like my world is not spinning out of control. Now that I have that, I'm able to actually film this video. And I guess I am a little bit scatterbrained. I don't remember if I already mentioned this when I first started recording. I filmed this video last week, and I would never typically refilm a video because, like I've mentioned, the Cozy Corner is not about perfection and aesthetics and the perfect thing, and I mess up the things that I say, and that's not the point. And my genuine energy is what I want to put out there. But I was so angsty and angry and shaking. You can hear it in my voice. Like my throat, it's almost like there was something in my throat. It's really hard to explain. Almost like when someone's on the verge of tears, but they just can't do it. That's how I was feeling. It's like when the water is boiling, but it hasn't started rumbling yet. That's how I was feeling. And right before, and then it spills over, and then the water is officially boiling. That was how I felt. Oh my God. It's too much for a girl to handle. It's too much for me to handle. So I've been coping with a little too much wine, okay? White wine, keeping it cute, but not so cute. Let me not try and dress it up. I've been like crying. When I get home, I just cry and cry and cry, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know what I'm sad about, and I don't know if I'm mad or I'm sad or I'm disappointed or I'm angry or I'm heartbroken or if I'm, irritated, or if I'm confused, or if I'm overworked, or well, I can't figure out. I couldn't in that moment, the last couple of days. But then the certainty came back into my life, and I could finally breathe. And crying really does help you. Thankfully, I have close friends that are just like, girl, I'm here for you. Give me a call if you ever need it, which I cash in my ticket for that all the time when I need to. And they just listen. And they're like, yep. So what I think I saw from this other creator years ago is exactly what I'm experiencing, where it's like, it doesn't really have to be something negative because she was experiencing a great opportunity, but uncertainty and the nerves, like being nervous about something is just the more positive. It doesn't feel like that in the moment, but being really nervous and excited for something is the positive of the anxious feeling, but they're both similar. It's like that pit in your stomach, and you have uncertainty even when you're excited. Like, think about those talent shows in middle school, or when you had to stand up in front of the class and give a speech. That feeling is on the negative side, where you're just like, humiliation, exciting, love it. Actually, I'm joking, I can hate it. I hate doing this. It's on that end of the spectrum. But when you get something good, you're like, oh my God, like, first day, first job, first this, but you're still like, OMG, like, ooh, you don't know what's going to happen. And we tend to lean towards, what if I fail, right? And then the inverse of that quote is, well, what if you fly? But I could not see any flying. I just saw crash and burn. Life is over. I wanted to crawl into a hole. And I felt like my world was closing in. Now, if I'm describing something that you experience, do you experience this feeling that I'm describing all of the time? Let me know, leave a comment. And if you do, I feel for you, because I clearly can't take that uncomfortable, angsty, sort of desperate for answers feeling. And I don't know, because I don't know, is that how people who feel either a depression or anxiety, is that how they feel all of the time? And if so, again, girl, I feel you. So what I do know is that the solution is not to drown away your sorrows. It's really not. That's not healthy. But I'm on the other side of it right now. I finally just have more clarity. So I encourage anyone, if you ever experience a sort of crippling uncertainty that causes you to spiral, don't do what I did. Just don't. Because life's going to keep doing that, right? We know life is unfair, life is uncertain, life can be predictable only in little spurts, but for the majority of life, we don't really know what's going to happen. But when our plan gets interrupted, or so we think, even though it's getting redirected, but you're still on track. When you have that feeling, take a deep breath. Not one time did I pause and just go, it's gonna be okay. I forgot to do that. There were two voices like, oh my God, she's crashing and burning. Fix this uncomfortable feeling. But then in the back of my head, there is another voice that's like, everything's fine. Everything's always fine. But that one was quiet. I could only hear the loud crash and burn voices. So take it from me. you will get through the sense of uncertainty and overwhelm when it just comes out of the blue, when it's, you know, regarding work, dating, family, all of these situations, the different aspects of our lives, they will pass. They have to. Nothing is forever. And I guess I couldn't see that, but I see it now. And so I'm exhaling on that. I'm putting a pin in that, I guess, destructive behavior, because it doesn't do anything. It doesn't help. It doesn't really help. It's just a distraction from this. Like, maybe I should have just done this the whole time. And I remember I did try. I just couldn't do it because I had a block. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm getting at here, but leave a comment if any of this resonates with you, or if you have any questions or want me to make another video on this topic. I definitely can. But thank you so much for watching. This one is sort of a quick one, so bear with me. I will see you in the next video.